Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Today, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode, a very exciting episode at Crazy Talks with Wise People. This is Mary Angela Moore, your host for this show. Today, as you can see, we've got a very beautiful woman with us. She's not only beautiful outside, but she's also beautiful inside. She's beautiful inside out. Just to give you a little background, how I got to know this person, I met her twice in an event. She invited me, and it was really an honor to be invited by someone like her. And one thing I noticed with her is that she's a well rounded woman, well faceted woman. Um, well, just to mention a few of her achievements, she's a medical doctor. She's
Yes.
she's a business person, a very successful business person. She is a servant leader. That was my impression of her, because she wasn't the queen who sits down. Her leadership is really more of service and helping people. Not to mention that she's a socialite in the Philippines. She rubs elbows with the elites, but she loves everyone, whoever they are, the poor, the provincial, the educated, the not so schooled. She serves from the heart. I would like her to introduce herself because she's got a lot, I mean, a wide array of credentials, a president of this, a president of that, and well-loved leader. That's what I can say. The way she treated me, she was so warm. By the way, I still kept some of our photos. Those are really so precious to me. I wanted really to show our audience, the events that we've been together, but I couldn't share the screen in here. But one thing that I remember is that you gave me a Filipiniana gift, and I'm still keeping them with your name. It's intact. Thank you so much for that. All right. Um, I should call you Congresswoman now.
Oh, yes.
You're a very successful person. With all these, you're a successful business person, successful beauty queen at that. You are also a very successful leader in Zonta, in Rotary Club, and you're a very happily married. You're happily married, and you are also
Kids.
successful in mothering your children. So why on earth are you running for a congressional seat in the Philippine Congress? What made
Very
what made you decide? But okay, first of all, I should not forget to introduce her. She's Dr. Mildred Vitangcol. All right, she's a medical doctor by profession, and she will tell you more about her. Please listen to her.
Thank you so much, Angela, for this opportunity to get invited to your talk show this afternoon. And hello from the Philippines. It's afternoon here. It's so hot in the Philippines, and I hope you're enjoying the fine weather in London or in Europe, wherever you are right now. And to all the viewers, I'm Dr. Mildred Vitangcol. As introduced earlier, I'm a doctor by profession. And after I finished my fellowship in gastroenterology, I got invited to join the company in the Philippines, St. Peter Life Plan and Chapels. It's a 52-year-old company. I, I worked there since 1997 and retired last December as the chairman of the board. You might be wondering why on earth did I'm 57, but I retired from my position. That's very lucrative,
Yeah.
very rewarding work.
Yes.
Uh, I love, I love serving the family
Mhm.
in St. Peter.
The family business.
Healthcare
Mhm.
healthcare is as important as death care in taking care of the families who have lost a loved one. So
Mhm.
it's really rewarding. But you know, there's a point in our life wherein there's another calling and there's another passion that we would like to pursue. Just like uh, me right now, I'm pursuing another passion of my life, which is going to be running for a party list representative, and the name is there in my background, in
Oh,
my
oh,
virtual
well,
background.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So, for those who are not familiar with a party list in the Philippines, it is enacted by law in 1995, wherein 20% of the seats in Congress will be represented by a party list. So, why is it so? The reason why it was enacted into law is because most of the marginalized are not represented in Congress. So the marginalized, meaning the sector of marginalized, meaning farmers, fishermen, laborers, um,
Oh, oh,
other group- groups and sectors in the Philippines who have no voice, who are, not being able to have access to a lot of services that a, everyone deserves. To me, rich or poor, young and old, we all deserve to get the basic services we so deserve. Because love, we are all loved by God, and God gave us everything that we must enjoy in life. And looking at the far-flung areas in the Philippines, because I'm also serving as the district governor of District 3830 in Rotary,
mm,
this 2022-2023, I have seen for the past 15 years, I have seen a lot of communities not being able to get the services that everyone's to have. And that's the reason why I decided to run into public service, because I'm hoping to be an instrument of the people who have the voice and people who have limited access to the basic needs, especially for access to healthcare, access to education, and access to livelihood. In the Philippines, there's so much poverty. So many people are hungry, not only hungry physically, but of course, hungry spiritually as well. And it seems like they felt like they're being neglected. So this is the the organization that um, I
yes.
am running. I am presenting as the group in the party list on the first nominee, and I'm hoping and praying that God will guide me and use me so that I can be the voice of the voiceless, and I can serve the marginalized sector of the society in the Philippines, and we can be represented in Congress, because there is, women are not much represented, so much so health professionals are also not represented. So being a doctor and being a woman, I'm aspiring to be part of that policymakers in Congress to be the voice. So
Wow, you're a
that's how.
phenomenal woman, and you're my
Thank
dolly.
you.
Dolly in the Philippines is a slang for idol. If there's one role, if there's one role model I have, it is you. I'm actually silently watching your moves, watching your activities, and you're really one of those persons that I so admire. And so, I'm never been, I've never been nervous interviewing people, but like I really did a lot of preparations before I sat down and interview you, because I know that you're a very respectable person. And one
Thank
thing I
you.
noticed with you is that you're not a queen leader who sits down on a chair. What I noticed with you, when we were in Blue Leaf was that you were the last to eat, literally. You went around and made sure that even the janitors, the blue collared workers who were helping, were well taken care of by you and by your staff. And you made, well, that was an international event, and you were able to make everyone comfortable. And the technicians were there, and you were taking care of them personally and making everyone feel so good about the event. Um, I'm just wondering why you chose to be the voice for the voiceless, when in fact you practically grew up in a with a silver spoon on your mouth. So what made you? Well, I'm aware of all your civic services. I am aware of that. I've been following you, and I've been looking at all these humanitarian deeds that you made. Um, oh, how did you get the empathy towards the voiceless when you're an empowered woman, you come from an elite family, and what exposure or what made you empathize with these people? I'm just wondering.
Okay, so yeah, let's go back a little bit on my childhood.
Mhm.
I grew up in a barrio, which is called a barangay nowadays,
Right, right.
and
Okay, let
and
me just define it a bit. A barrio in the Philippines is something like a small unit of
it's suburb.
society.
It's a suburb.
Mhm.
Yeah,
In the
it's a
suburbs.
barangay. It's a
Mhm,
small, community.
mhm.
So I grew up looking at inspired by my mother because
Mhm.
she's a midwife. So
Ah,
while taking care of the mothers and the children, that she was able to have the mothers delivered. She was like a village doctor, a village doctor. So looking at
your mom was a
that,
village doctor. Ah,
yeah, she was like a village doctor, but she was a midwife. She
oh.
was like rural health center
Mm,
midwife.
mm,
So everybody goes there, and she does this giving birth and everything. So
mm.
she takes care of the community. She takes care of the village. She takes care of the whole barangay. And so when I grew up, I said that I wanted to be like her. And that's the reason why I pursued my profession to become a doctor. And that's how I grew up, inspired by my mom.
Ah,
And I saw the passion in her on how she wanted to serve others, selfless service beyond our family.
mm,
So you've said that we're like kind of affluent, or maybe we have like economically blessed in
yeah.
our place, because we had this huge farm and a rice mill and a store in our area. So people go there, and we know everybody in our community. But going back to my mother, she was like the village doctor, but she's a midwife.
Ah,
So I was inspired by how she took care of the community.
ah,
So moving forward, after I have the successful career in my professional life as a doctor and as a corporate executive, I
mm,
went back to that thinking that, I can do more. I can do more to serve
mm,
and pay forward
mm,
to the other communities where I was inspired, like, in my childhood, and make this an inspiration, and use my talent and my resources to be able to serve the poorest of the poor. And thinking now that, if I will have an opportunity to be able to create laws or improve and enhance laws in the Philippines
Mhm.
to be able to serve better the poorest of the poor, then I can say that I had contributed to the improvement of the plight of the poor in the country, and of course, improvement of the economy or the lives of the families translates to better leaders in the future of our countries. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, we can say and look back and say that we are part of that milestone. We are part, it's a legacy that we have created together
Legacy.
and be an instrument
Oh,
of the change.
because you're a purpose-driven woman. Now I understand why you are running for the seat. Because you've been so relevant. Now you're working on your legacy, because you're now moving to significance from relevance. Wow, yes. And oh, yeah, I read it in your bio data that you graduated from Silliman University, right? And then you
Right.
studied further in many other universities. I really don't know how you were able to manage your life, having a happy family life, having wonderful children, and having successful careers, and having successful civic organizations, humanitarian work. I don't know how you even did it, and you're still so beautiful as you are.
Believe it
Okay.
or not, I'm here in a golf course here. We're running an event right now, but I don't want to miss this opportunity to have this conversation with you because yeah, we're somewhere in the middle of this beautiful nature in the golf course, and
Where are
yeah,
you right now? Where are you right
in
now?
Pradera is in Pampanga, in
Oh,
Lubao,
in
Pampanga.
Pampanga. I love Pampanga. Well, I'm going to show you where I am right now. I'm in the middle of a forest. This is called Marlborough. Well, Marlborough is a medieval state. They call it medieval state. In the Philippines, it's called probinsya. This is a
Oh,
in the Philippines called probinsya. It's
I'm
like
also in the province.
province. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, here,
province.
here,
I
here.
like it. All right, I like it. Yeah. And okay. So now let's move forward. I actually had read here one of um your definition of what a servant leader is. So you said here that a servant leader is a person who aims to serve others with sincerity and humility above self. This I agree, and I saw her doing this inside and out. Serve with integrity. What he or she thinks, says, and does are one and the same. In other words, a person must be walking his or her talk. And Mildred is. I really just. Oh, I'm calling all the angels right now, to fly all over the world, and all the OFW Filipinos to vote for you, and all the Filipinos in the Philippines to vote for you because you are true. Number three, you said that a servant leader serve the greater common good of all. My goodness, not just the common good, not just the good of family and friends, but for the common good. You're right. I saw you. I saw you. I saw you really do this, and then create more leaders and not just followers. It's true. I remember you being honored by the members of your club, of your Rotary Club before, and I heard them. I mean, not all Rotary Club members are like you, but it is actually a concoction of people from all walks of life. Some of them like ordinary workers, but you've really been honored profusely by the people who worked with you and for you. And then you created more leaders. How many leaders have you created?
Wow, every hundred over there and many more. I stopped counting, you know. Um, yeah, as long as you inspire people, when the way you have a conversation with them, and they are inspired by you, and give them hope that they can be whoever they want to be for as long as they focus on it, they work on it, and what's important is they're also able to serve others when they become successful out there.
Yeah, actually, that's what I admire with your group, your Zonta group, because they're just a group of very powerful elites, and that, but then they also love the poor. They love to serve, and that's why I love it. All right. So next it says, okay, that's actually Mildred's photo when she became a beauty queen, and I'm sure it was taken in her palatial home in the Philippines. Okay, so you also said that you'd like to serve the greater common good of all, create more leaders and not just followers, build better relationships and teamwork. Well, I concur. Okay, all these that you wrote here, I can say that all these are actually true. Okay, we lost her already. As she said, she is in a provincial uh, provincial sortie, and
That's
other
why
girls. All
I'm
right.
sorry, I'm losing you.
All right. She's in a provincial sortie, so I already expect that there might be some there
Right.
might
Sorry
be
about that.
yeah, technical difficulties here. We have 7 more minutes to go, and one more question that I have for you is: when you sit in Congress, what first law will you propose?
Well, I'd like to have, I believe in having everybody to have an insurance coverage so that the families will be secured when something
You
happens.
named it. Yes.
So,
Mhm.
and of course, healthcare coverage for
Healthcare
everyone, not only health
coverage for
insurance,
everyone. Yes.
not only insurance, but of course, the whole holistic health coverage for all.
Holistic health
And
coverage.
that's something that's not done in the Philippines, and
Mhm.
that will be one of my priorities. And there is several in my list, but we can talk about it more soon
Yeah, I
in the
really
next.
like to have a series of interviews. I have some friends from Saudi Arabia, from overseas, and one vote counts. One, two, three, four, five. 10 vote counts. But if I will have the power to do it, I'd like everyone to vote for you. I'll be voting for you too. I hope I'll be there not to vote for you, but my relatives, of course, will be able to see this, and I'm sure they will vote for you. I've been so proud of you. I'd spoken so highly of you to my brothers and sisters, I mean, brothers by blood and not by blood. We call each other sisters because of our common advocacies, and so I'm just so grateful that there's a real person who's going to Congress, real person who's not a politician. I'm sure you are going to be a state woman. Yeah, you're not going to
Thanks
be one of those
so
women
much.
politicians there. I'm sure you'll be sincere, and I'm sure because you already are. Well, I always believe that integrity starts at home. You being a happy mother and you having a happy husband and happy family, it only goes to show that you are real. You are real. And I'm sure that you are real in everything that you said here that I've read about you. You've been featured in love magazines, being a phenomenal woman, being a beauty queen, being a success and all. You can Google her. Well, she actually uses her name, Mildred Vitangcol, right? You
Yeah,
you
that's
will
right.
actually include your middle name, which is Van de Vasse, right?
I'm the buzzer.
Van de Vasse. Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
please, you actually, we still have 4 minutes. Please, the floor is yours. Whatever it is that you would like, a message that you'd like to convey, especially to the possible voters for you. Please say it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Angelo, for this heart-to-heart
Mm,
talk conversation
mm,
with you. And in spite of the distance, you're thousands of miles away. We're connected with each other, and that's really wonderful, and that's so amazing. And I thank you for greeting everyone and wishing everyone best of health. And I hope the pandemic is over soon. And in the Philippines, of course, the this coming election, I don't want to say it, but of course, this coming election, I hope they will choose the right leader, because this is voting, exercising the right to vote is the great equalizer in our country. It's the right, the rich and the poor, the young and old, and you're exercising the right to choose the right leader, because you have to be part of that history to be able to prepare the future for the next generations and generations to come. And thank you so much for the time and for this opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Actually, Mildred, there are, I think there were two candidates who approached me, um, so that I would be able to interview them in this channel, but I refused because I don't know them. I know you. I know you, and I'm confident that I will not ruin the reputation of TVC and TV. We are an apolitical network. We're based in the UK, but we support people who are real. Please remember Mildred Vitangcol. For what position again? Congressperson, Congresswoman?
I'm a candidate and the first nominee of Health Filipinos Party List. Thank you.
All
And
right.
I'm not
Mildred Vitangcol for Congress. Please remember her always. I love her. And I know everyone who knows her will say the same. All right.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a
I'm
lovely,
so
have
honored.
lovely day.
Mm,
Thank you.
thank you
Love
so
you, love
much.
you.
Love you. Love you too. Bye bye for now.
Bye
Okay.
now.
Bye for
Bye.
now.